Okay, answer this $1 billion question.
Yeah.
Options buyer makes more money or option seller?
Can't give one answer to that.
Of course.
But the thing is, option sellers make money more consistently, but they blow up very fast. We've seen this happen too many times. Option buyers rarely make money consistently, but if they have the guts to hold on to their positions, we've seen that their capital you can create wealth there. I mean, I'm not uh, saying that people should go down that path, but I've seen it happen.
फेस टू फेस के एक और वीडियो में दोस्तों आपका स्वागत है। आज कुछ अलग करने वाला हूँ। आज ओपन में बातचीत करने वाला हूँ और आज जिन गेस्ट को लेके आया हूँ ना, बहुत स्पेशल है। मैं तो एक्चुअली हर वीडियो में आपको ये बोलता हूँ कि एवरी वीडियो इज स्पेशल, बट इस वीडियो के अंदर में हम लोग मार्केट के बारे में डीपली घुसेंगे। मार्केट का जो स्ट्रक्चर है, आर्किटेक्चर है, उसको समझेंगे। आज मैं एक ब्रोकर को लेके आया और बहुत ही यंग, डैशिंग, डायनेमिक और नए जनरेशन के ब्रोकर है, डिस्काउंट ब्रोकर ओन करते हैं और उनसे समझने वाला हूँ कि कैसे ये इंडस्ट्री चेंज हो रही है, कैसे इन्वेस्टर्स नए आ रहे हैं, क्या वो पैसा बना रहे हैं और अगर नहीं बना रहे तो क्यों नहीं बना रहे, और पैसा अगर बनाना है सबको तो कैसे बनाना चाहिए। तो आज का वीडियो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है। एक तो इतने ओपन में हम लोग रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं। एक्चुअली हम लोग गोवा आए हैं, फेस टू फेस गोवा इवेंट में मौका मिला रिकॉर्ड करने का आपके लिए। सो आई एम नॉट लूजिंग दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी। तो गोवा आए हैं और आपके लिए एक रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं। तो बस सीधा चलते हैं, मुद्दे पे बात करते हैं। लेट्स वेलकम आवर गेस्ट फॉर द इवनिंग फॉर दिस फेस टू फेस, तेजस। Hello,
Vivek.
what's up?
Great, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's been overdue for some time.
Right.
हम
yeah.
लोग बहुत दिन से कोशिश कर रहे थे कि आप कलकत्ता आ जाओ, मैं बैंगलोर चला जाऊँ, but I think Goa is a perfect setup to record
Yeah,
this.
we got the opportunity.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. So Tejas, I don't know how many people know you because you have been always keeping low profile. Yeah, there are many modern new gen brokers who have done incredible work, and you are one of the one. But you have kept. I don't know. We need to talk about it. Ki why are you so low profile? Why are you not talking so much? And you know, so much is there inside you. You have so much experience of market. No, how many years of experience?
Well, I started when I was 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah, so I'm 34 now. So yeah.
That's quite impressive. So did you start as a trader?
I did. I started off in 2006 flipping IPOs, infrastructure, real estate IPOs. I don't know if you would count that as formal experience, but I think what happened then, and I started off then, that was quite profound experience, I would call it. Yeah. So I started then.
And that was as in individual capacity used to invest, right?
I had borrowed money
Ah,
to invest in IPOs.
that I'm going to talk about it later. Borrowing money and getting into the market. We all have done mistakes, right? And the idea of face to face is to share our mistakes with open heart,
Right.
and talk about it so that people who are probably doing the same mistake should not commit the mistake. And now that you are a broker, a reputed broker, I'm sure you have more moral responsibility to tell people what to do and what not to do.
I will try my best.
Yes, that's great. So friends, वैसे एक प्रॉब्लम है, हिंदी मुझे बहुत पसंद है, बट तेजस क्योंकि डाउन साउथ का है तो थोड़ा सा निकालने की कोशिश करेंगे, बट इट इज गोइंग टू बी लार्ज इन इंग्लिश।
Yeah, I will try. कोशिश
कीजिएगा। So Tejas, tell me, when did you start your financial intermediary journey?
Fyers, we started in 2015-16. We got the license in 2015, but then as you know, once you become a broker, there's lots of processes. So we officially got started in 2016. So yeah, since then it's been about 6 years operational.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
6, 7
And
years.
what a lovely time to be in operation, no? Last 5 years, 6 years, India has seen such a massive growth in terms of number of traders, number of new investors coming in. Have you also seen similar growth in your client profile?
Yes, I think much of it came after lockdown. Yeah, but I think we grew like 10 times in lockdown, 10x. So before that, it was slow and steady. And yeah, we've seen a different, I would say, a more active trading profile at Fyers.
Yeah.
Not so much the first timers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Not so much the ones who just got introduced to the markets
Yeah.
during the peak of the lockdown.
Mhm.
So yeah, we dealt with the more difficult crowd, if you know what I mean.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So when you talk about active, SEBI came out with this report recently, and we'll talk about a lot of things. Huh?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll try to keep it as informal, as friendly, bro conversations as possible, so that जो market के issues है ना, वो मैं दिल से खुल के बात कर सकूँ किसी से. मुझे लगा Tejas is the right person to talk. So SEBI came out with this report, which says that 45 lakh odd people are active market participant, right, in client category, and 89% people lost money, 1.5 lakh rupee, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is your thought on that kind of a data? Is that in sync with your kind of a client profile, or you think that's a very broad data? Every broker will have a unique clientele base, and it may not necessarily be the case for your broking firm.
So averages don't represent everybody, as you know,
Yeah.
right? But I wouldn't say ours is very differentiated from the average, simply because when the numbers start to increase, I mean, it doesn't fall too far from the average.
Yeah.
So we used to run this thing called the 30-day challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we would give brokerage discounts to those who would trade profitably. So we tried to do our bit in terms of adding value to them somehow to be more profitable, more disciplined in trading. So we also have witnessed that most people lose money in trading.
Okay.
To what extent? To a great extent. I mean, ultimately, it's a zero-sum game, not accounting for fees.
Yeah.
If you count for the fees, it becomes a negative-sum game. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not easy to make money in trading, and I have been kind of outspoken about it, especially since so many first-timers came into the markets, started trading wildly. So yeah, we've been more steady in that sense, not going overboard trying to acquire newbies.
Right.
Yeah.
So एक है, अच्छा दोस्तों, मेरा ना कोई कमर्शियल रिलेशनशिप अभी तक तो नहीं है इनके साथ. कभी होगा तो मैं अनाउंस कर दूंगा. आई एम नॉट प्रमोटिंग एनी ब्रोकर आउट हियर. I met him couple of months ago and I like his thought process. आप देखिए, as a broker he is saying that clients actually में पैसा खोते हैं, so which is like a submission of honesty which you have inside you, and obviously there are 2-3 more brokers who are as honest as it can get. Tell me, options trading is such a big thing, yaar.
Yeah.
I was in one of the events in Surat a couple of days ago, and I got absolutely amazed by the number of people who are interested in options.
Yeah.
Right. And if you look at the US examples, that option trading in US has gone to day zero option trading.
Right.
They have everyday expiry.
Right.
So much of craze, global craze.
Yeah.
So do you think India will catch up to that? Will have more and more options traded in India? Or you think regulator is kind of looking at it and probably will see some consolidation or some slowdown in that growth?
So what you mentioned about everyday expiry
Yeah.
is going to happen here as well.
Oh.
So you will see that with Bombay Stock Exchange launching new weekly contracts.
Yeah.
You will see that with the NSE coming out with the mid-cap FNO contract, which will be
Yes.
expiring on Wednesday. We already have a Fin Nifty on Tuesday. So it is going to become an almost everyday expiry
Yeah.
scenario here.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing? I don't know, because the markets will be flooded with derivative contracts expiring every day. So essentially, it will be like everybody's trading that particular expiry, and not so much the others. So I don't know how that contributes to depth. I don't know. It could be counterproductive if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about cash market? Have you started? Let's walk and talk.
Sure.
Yeah. What about cash market? How has been your contribution, your broking firm's contribution in the growth of cash market segment?
So trading is in cash markets very little, I would say, simply because you can make number one, right? Like what happened with the margin rules. Brokers are not allowed to fund intraday exposures now. So it can only go to a maximum of 5x, which means that there is lesser leverage to trade with, and because there's lesser leverage to trade with, people take to trading derivatives, especially options. So we have seen a reduction in cash volumes, a reduction in futures volumes towards options. So I would say cash markets is more a linear growth. Yeah. But Fyers primarily is known to be a derivatives brokerage.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
you might be asking that question to the wrong person.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about Fyers. Let's talk about the derivative and your DNA.
Okay.
Uh, I know that you have very active traders in your stable, and some of the people vouch for your technology, which you have created, the API, the connectivity. Let's give a very simplistic understanding of this API thing. Well, it's a topic which is quite controversial as well.
Yeah.
I'll go for retail, API plugin with the broker. Can you simplify that? What is it all about? And is it advisable for a active retail participant to start thinking about these APIs and broker connects?
First of all, Vivek, I think um, API is getting far more media hype than it actually is, right? Because if you ask us, the number of API users that we have are less than, are in the single digits of our total user base in terms of the percentages. So what is API trading? Essentially, it is a way for you to do algo trading. And in more simplistic terms, it's essentially like a connector which connects our customer to our backend without having to use our interface.
Okay.
So instead of trading on our app, you can use all the other infrastructure behind the app
Yeah.
to trade from somewhere else.
Okay. And that someone else could be what?
It could be their own Python code. It could be any third-party platform
So can
that
I plug
offers.
in my trading view setup
Yes, you can. Quite a lot of people do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you need any specific knowledge to do that, or there is enough knowledge available in market for
Well,
people?
there is. See, the reason it hasn't yet grown to those proportions is because people don't want to take the hassles of having to learn all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Trading should be easy, and hence it hasn't grown as much as it's touted to be.
Yeah, I mean, look at the article, look at the tweet, look at the who ha about it, that algo trading for retail is coming and so much is
So,
happening in that domain.
I think the reason is because the word algo arouses some kind of voodoo taboo feeling in people. It's
Yeah.
almost like a voodoo manual to get rich quick or something.
Yeah.
And so that thought process leads to such conclusions.
You have
it's
your
very
clients'
nascent.
data. I don't want you to tell me the exact numbers, but tell me, is that correct to conclude that algos are typically more profitable than manual traders?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
We've seen this before when we used to run the challenge or this the 30-day challenge, like I mentioned earlier. We've seen that most discretionary traders turned out to be profitable.
Ah.
So why? Because perhaps they could react more dynamically towards changes in the markets than maybe a rule-based approach allowed you to. Because with the rule-based approach, first you make tons of mistakes, then you learn from that mistake. It's a longer process, if you ask me. So that's a misnomer. Algo traders are not necessarily more profitable.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, not more profitable, but let me tweak the question. Are they more consistently more profitable?
No, they aren't, Vivek.
No.
No.
So discretionary trader will have the same level of consistency as an algo platform?
In many cases, more.
Oh.
Yeah.
So all you discretionary traders who are looking to build a career in market as a trader, I think we still have hope, at least for coming how many years? We still have hope for them.
Discretionary traders?
Yeah?
I think we have hope for a long time. I don't see that just because there is algo trading has been around for a long time.
Yeah,
It's just that it's becoming more popular now with the
Yeah,
retail crowd. But does that mean that discretionary guys never made money? Of course they did.
Yeah.
And they continue to do so.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will change the equation much.
This is a very important question, okay? And you are vested party to that question, but I'm still asking you that question.
Sure.
Traditional brokers versus discount brokers. Okay, and I know that you are a very honest person, so you will give your honest reply.
Sure.
Many people ask that question, that sir, should I use traditional broker or discount broker? Can you give me a criteria? Can you create a kind of a matrix for us? Yes, if you are this, use this. If you are that, use that.
Okay. So traditional broking and discount broking are kind of dated terms. We are in 2023 now. And so these terms are not so relevant, and I'll tell you why. Discount broking started off because of a technology arbitrage. NSE now launched a free SaaS platform through which new guys can come and start the business. Right? So they only offered few things. So those cost-conscious traders can trade essentially. But over the years, they started to insource technology. Once they started to insource technology, they could go after all the other things that the so-called traditional brokers were offering. Except that you could do it better. Why? The benefits of insourcing technology is that you don't have to depend on outsiders to cater to your users. Because whenever third parties are responsible to make your users happy, you have very little control over it, right? And so over time, what's happened is that discount brokers have started offering what full service brokers offer.
Right.
More or less. Like today, we offer almost everything that a traditional broker offers.
Yeah.
All the exchanges, the depositories, we offer IPOs, mutual funds, bonds, all of that.
But that is access to the instrument.
Right.
But traditional broker has always been known to have a lot of knowledge orientation, like research, like advisory, relationship managers to take care of your need, especially for HNIs.
But especially for HNIs, I can't really comment on HNIs because right now we don't really have an advisory or we don't really specifically serve HNIs. But if I have to talk about retail traders, they have access to data and information and similar research now at a far lower cost. So they don't need to be levied that huge brokerage fee, which is supposed to also have the cost of research included in it.
Correct.
Right. So the equation is kind of different today.
Correct. And there is a wild, acceptance. People believe that my capital is not safe with a new gen discount broker and old school brokers because of their large balance sheet. My capital is safer. So do you think the current regulatory changes which SEBI has done, that question is now pretty much negated?
Well, if you ask me, that was more relevant in the yesteryears. Now, the reason I say this is the SEBI regulations since 2016, more or less, has been in one direction only. And the direction is to reduce the possibilities for a broker to misappropriate clients' funds and securities. So this series of regulations that have come about in the last 6 years, just when we got the license.
Achha.
So we were born in that era.
Right.
And today, there is very little scope for a broker to do a scam.
Achha. Yeah.
Because after Carvi happened and after several other brokers defaulted, for the first time, there was a feeling that the regulator is far more proactive than intermediaries or other participants. So I don't think net worth is a game changer because there are very few possibilities for a broker to default because they've restricted what you can do essentially, right? Because you have things like client-wise segregation, segment-wise segregation. Brokers can't use money to fund other brokers' trading positions. They can't use client money to trade in proprietary, so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't think net worth is such a big deal today, apart from it being required to run the business itself. Maybe a few use cases, but definitely not as important as it used to be.
So, would you advise people to have probably two brokers handy? One is a traditional where you can have an access to the branch or access to the person easily, and one discount broker where tech is superior, and if you have a faster trader, then you use more of discount broker for active trading, and maybe passive trading can be parked with traditional brokers.
Well, I think more than traditional and discount, I would say choose two or multiple tech-focused brokers.
Okay.
That's an easier way to diversify.
Yeah.
You can't completely ignore a broker's financials. It's very important in this business to be profitable.
Yeah.
In order to deal with future uncertainties and so on.
Yeah.
It's a highly volatile business to be in.
Yeah.
But that's what I think.
Okay. What's the average balance typical average balance of a new investor who is coming to the market or a new trader who is coming to the market?
It's under 1 lakh.
Under 1 lakh.
In most cases, it's like 50, 60,000 rupees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do these guys do with 50, 60,000 typically?
Off late, everybody's trying to trade option strategies.
Okay.
Because there's so much education that has kind of percolated down to the end user.
Yeah.
And so that's become the norm now.
Okay.
But intraday trading is also slowly picking up because volatility has gone up.
Yeah.
A lot of stocks are moving, so it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Intraday trading in cash market.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a good sign.
Okay, answer this $1 billion question.
Yeah.
Options buyer makes more money or option seller?
I can't give one answer to that.
Of course.
But the thing is, option sellers make money more consistently, but they blow up very fast. We've seen this happen too many times. Option buyers rarely make money consistently, but if they have the guts to hold on to their positions, we've seen that their capital you can create wealth there. I mean, I'm not saying that people should go down that path, but I've seen it happen.
Tejas, I have some questions with respect to market microstructure. Okay? And this is very much related to a broker or a new investor or trader who's coming. First thing, the extension of market time. Do you think it will happen? Whether we like it or not, it will happen for sure.
I think it should happen. Whether or not it will happen, I think markets should be extended. And it should happen for multiple reasons. Number one is that if the market has to accommodate for more people to trade and invest, when I say more people, not just existing guys, like those who are now working from office cannot trade from 9 to 3:30. It's difficult. So extending it up to 5 p.m. till the permission limit makes sense. But apart from that, I think hedging is important. Like when does confidence in a market go up? If you can hedge the downside, right? Let's say you have a portfolio, you've invested all your life savings in the stock markets, and then something like a Russia happens, and you have no tools to hedge. So we're talking about having the ability to hedge overnight risk after the markets have closed, after the equity markets have closed. What should be open? Should all derivatives be open till midnight or more? Maybe not. The markets are very correlated today. So at least index futures, if not index options, at least that. There is this ongoing argument in the industry that it will perpetuate, full speculation till midnight and people will get exhausted. But that's not exactly the point here. We're talking about the merit of the marketplace. A market needs to be open for people to hedge. It's not compulsory to trade, right? And if we as an ecosystem want to prevent that kind of speculation in the evening hours and such, perhaps only introduce futures.
Okay. Maybe test the water, see how it works. And if we see that it's growing faster.
Yeah. So there's another line of thought that it will further increase impact cost, reduce liquidity as there will be patches of liquidity around the day.
Yeah.
Well, but see, the thing is, change is the only constant. To solve one problem, you will probably have to deal with another.
Yeah.
So it's this never-ending evolution of the markets, and resisting it too much can prevent us from becoming the preferred destination to trade. That's what I genuinely think.
But the question is that do we want to become a preferred destination to trade or invest? Because we are saying cash market extension will not happen.
Well, one cannot exist without the other, I feel. Like I keep saying that if everybody wants to invest like Warren Buffett, then these Warren Buffetts will not have the liquidity when they want to get out of the markets, right?
So do you have active commodities division also, which is active till 12?
We do.
Oh, so
yeah. So
anyway, the speculator who is trading the market commodities,
right?
Even if we get the guy.
Yeah, but the participation in commodities is abysmally low.
Really? What is the percentage?
Like 5-8%.
Oh.
Yeah, and commodities is not something that has picked up as much as it should.
Yeah.
Especially because we are essentially trading commodities here which are benchmarked
Yeah.
in other exchanges.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
we are price takers, we're not
Correct.
price setters, and that makes all the difference. I think which increased participation in commodities, ultimately the direction should be that we should set prices in India, starting out with gold at least.
But this is a discussion which is happening since 2013.
Right.
That's the time when I entered the commodity space. No, not 2013. Sorry, what am I saying? 2006. Because 2003 commodity was launched. In 2006, we were talking about this, that why India being the biggest consumer is not the trend setter for gold prices. But I think,
Well, I guess it's also to do with willingness.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Finally, that's how. But you think if Nifty is extended till 12, even commodities trading will also grow, because people who will sit till 12, they would like to see all asset classes.
Maybe. It looks likely.
So do we see a scenario where India becomes a truly multi-asset trading destination? Because right now is so much skewed towards equity and equity derivative that people are not looking at commodity currency.
Well, see, the thing is, will people really trade futures contracts after market closing is a big question mark. We've
Yeah.
all assumed that they will.
Yeah, yeah,
And maybe that is an erroneous assumption,
yeah, yeah.
right? So, it's just a tool for Indians to hedge, FPIs to hedge their positions.
Yeah,
And that's about it. I don't know if it can, scale up and do that much more. I don't think so.
Okay. Let's talk about the brokerage industry. Last 5-6 years have been great for, superlatively great for many people and great for the entire industry. And brokerage rates have gone down, so it has not hit the bottom line because the volumes of every broker
Absolutely,
has gone up.
yeah.
So net result is positive for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, assuming that volume remains here,
Yeah.
and there is more pressure from new competitors in the market, what will happen to this brokerage rate? Is it expected to go down further from here?
Well, the cost of doing business hasn't gone down.
Of course.
The cost of doing business has gone up like this because right from compliance, technology, inflation, rentals, all sorts of things are
Yep.
just inflated all over the place.
Right.
So I don't know if it is sustainable to reduce brokerage rates, hoping that volumes will increase. See, ultimately, volume from A broker can go to B broker. But
Yeah.
let's do a thought experiment. If all volumes from all brokers that levy more brokerage go to somebody who's not levying brokerage,
Yeah.
is that a good development? And is that a sustainable development? Can they live up to the user's expectations and offer everything and take up those costs? I highly doubt it.
Actually, e-commerce is a classic case, no?
Yeah.
Where after a point of time, the unit economics became so bad that finally everyone had to come back to that level where say that no more discounting,
Yeah.
reasonable discounting,
Yeah.
because finally unit economics has to support.
See, barring a few exceptions, I don't think there are any winners in price wars. Barring a few exceptions during few times.
Right. So you think industry, if I'm an investor in a broking firm with a very focused on technology, you think it's a long-term industry? There's no area of concern there.
Of course, there are lots of concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, a stock which is a broking stock which is
Yeah.
listed is not an investor's favorite simply
Yeah.
because it's so highly volatile, subject to regulatory disruptions, all sorts of things. So I don't know. We just go with the flow and see where it leads us.
Yeah, because a lot of broking firms are actually trading at a very cheap valuations.
But I think those are right valuations. Why would you pay much more? In fact, when we think of a 15 price to earnings multiple,
Yeah.
it is assuming that if for the next 15 years, earnings will sustain at a certain rate,
Yeah.
and that's the price they're paying now, right? But a lot of things can change. Like one circular can change a lot of things, and each circular that is coming is taking away the avenues for making money for intermediaries.
Yeah.
So that's the trend. So I don't see that as anything weird.
Yeah. Let's talk about technology edge. We discussed that a bit when we were walking and discussing. a retail investor or retail trader who are active market participant, okay, they are always craving for a better technology solution.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we are in a world where independent service providers, people like us and the other people who are focusing only on providing the best solution for the customer who is looking for that solution, right?
Yeah.
And brokers have gone more into specialized transaction platform that will make sure the transaction platform is as smooth as possible, and you will collaborate with service providers like StockEdge, etc., with an API integration, right? Do you think this ecosystem growing the way it has evolved right now, or do you think eventually brokers will become uh, again they will become the service providers, and service providers like us probably will have to become broker at some point of time?
Well, one thing is for sure, um, technology providers, fintechs, so to speak, have done wonders, right? And it's helped a lot of new people get into the markets. And since there are so many differentiated offerings, if one does not get a solution here, it's like walking on Commercial Street in Bangalore,
Yeah,
or a mall in some other place.
yeah,
It's like you don't find something in one place, you can always walk over to the other,
yeah.
right across the street. So um, I don't have a clear-cut answer to that. The challenge today is that regulations are they're the highest barrier in the business. To build something is still requires innovation, but broking is less about innovation now, and it's more about compliance,
Right.
right? And we are, I mean, I've never been in a bank, but I would like to believe, and I've been told that the regulations are almost headed in such a way that we're regulated as much as banks, or will be sooner or later.
Right. Right.
Because although we are not considered NBFCs, in principle, in a way we are, because we are a deposit taking entity.
Right.
And so that changes the equation, because there's public money involved. And so how many people can take up those responsibilities? That's a question which one must ponder on, I think.
Fair point. So fintechs, because they thrust on innovation, creativity, and being hardcore regulated, it actually kills innovation. So I think both of us will survive in our own way and we'll collaborate. That's the new norm of new world.
That has been the norm since the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We certainly hope to continue, because in the last 2 years, most of the innovations have come from fintechs, not brokers.
Yeah.
And we know
That's
that
true.
because of our API integrations.
That's true. That's true. Information edge, okay, something which is, I mean, if you look at last 15, 20 years of Indian market, people have made huge money because of information arbitrage. That he had better information than the other person and he had faster execution ability, so he made faster money from vis-a-vis the public in large. Now that information edge is gradually getting reduced. Everyone has pretty much the same information, or most of the information, unless there's an insider information which obviously people will not have access to. How does a trader trade in an environment where there is probably no more information arbitrage and it's pure play market price efficiency which will drive your profit making? I hope my question is clear.
Yeah. So what you're saying is along the lines of efficient market hypothesis,
Yeah.
if you will. So I disagree, because firstly, I don't think markets are efficient. I believe markets are inherently unstable and subject to a lot of wild and unexpected disruptions. So how can we get clarity about this? We'll have to run another thought experiment.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that everybody, through either StockEdge app or other such apps, have all the information. All people have all the information all the time. Will they value that information the same way?
No.
So,
Okay. So the next stage
so,
of information.
there's room for differing valuations. There is room for differing actions, and so that's what causes the markets to be volatile. And so information alone does not move markets, of course. And so there's this thought process that market is just an information discounting mechanism. Is not true, because it's not a machine. It's a conglomeration of people who have their own whims and fancies, emotions, liquidity requirements, all sorts of things. So even with zero information asymmetry, I still think that people can, number one, outperform markets, and um, and and uh, people don't have access to all information all of the time anyways, because markets are all, they're a web, they're a global web, right? So nobody actually thought that a war in Russia and Ukraine could disrupt markets around the world, and that's been happening throughout, right? This did not happen because of lack of information alone. It happened because of a lot of other things as well.
True, true.
And so, yeah, that's what I mean.
Interesting. From information, let's move to social media.
Right.
And we are living in a new age of social media where all kind of people are there who are taking advantage of that. Some are being very formal and taking good advantage. Some are, obviously, we know this is how the world is, that people, if given the undue advantage, they'll take the undue advantage. How do we, I mean, there is a talk that SEBI will come out with regulations with respect to what you can post, what you can't post, basically against the philosophy of democratic internet, right? That if you're posting something on Twitter with respect to a stock,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to do that.
Right.
I mean, right now there is no clear-cut regulation.
Yeah.
But you think such regulation will come, and what will happen if that comes? Good for the market?
Number one, I think it will definitely happen.
Okay.
Is that good for the market? See, ultimately, there has to be some accountability. Now, it comes from that standpoint. It's not to restrict people per se, but if you look at like one guy sitting out of a 1 BHK apartment, recording all day, can influence millions of people and maybe spread fake news to crash the price of a stock, perhaps do a pump and dump scheme. All sorts of things can happen, and they have been happening. Of course, you may have followed the recent news on a bunch of things. So how does a regulator stop it, right? They're not saying you cannot record videos. All they're saying is they're trying to make people a bit more accountable, and I think that is required. I definitely think it's required.
Yeah, but in the spirit, yes. But how do you make people accountable for casual social media interactions? Then everyone will be very careful in what they want to post.
Maybe by imposing punitive action for something which can be proven. Like if somebody has bad intentions or to begin with, dishonest intentions, and maybe if that can be tracked and spotted, and then they face some punitive action, because right now the freedom of expression essentially makes them immune to almost anything that is said now. So I don't know how that will evolve. I certainly am not a social media influencer by any means, but I tend to sit back and observe. And when I do, I think that it's, I don't know what to say much about it, but I think at some point it is required to some extent.
Okay.
But here, I'll give you another example, right? What's been happening with also social media influencers in the trading sphere, right? Not just fake news. You have a lot of people posting fake screenshots. You have a lot of people claiming to have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then the way they prove it is by editing out screenshots and showing you a dream come true scenario. Now, we got a lot of people asking us that, is there any way to avoid it? Can you come up with something which can prevent people from faking it?
Yeah.
And so we did. We launched this thing where we give limited access to a user to publish his trading results, his profit and loss statement, online or to anybody he wishes to share it with.
Nice.
So, and that cannot be fake because it's essentially a link. It's a URL.
And it's a broker-backed link.
Yeah, it's authenticated by us.
Yeah, that's in fact I wanted to ask you that question. That verified PL is a great move. It really gives credibility to a lot of people.
But you know what? A lot of people, there was so much talk about this, but as soon as it went live, you suddenly see few people using it because they feel like if they boast now, then they will have to kind of answer when they make losses and such things. Yeah,
which is to a certain extent good also. At least people who are not doing it the right way. Some of them have stopped doing it. But you know, I've been doing research on this piece for some time, and I connected with a lot of people who are verifying through various other means also. And I think this problem is
Like
not.
how? What other
I mean,
means?
it's not an easy problem to solve, let me tell you. I mean, you cannot have a plain, simple tech solution for that because,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you have to post every day then. So there are people who are posting only on the days when they have profit.
No, so
What
I'll
about
tell
the
you what
days?
we've done, right? So you can post daily, you can also post on a customized time frame, you can
Oh.
post since inception, you can, we're adding more features by the way,
Yeah.
but essentially you can, it's not limited to one day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a limited access to your back office.
Yeah, so I think this is one thing which SEBI should push all the brokers to do this. But I mean, obviously you have done the first, so you are
No, I mean,
actually the leading broker who's
it might
doing this.
actually add value, yeah.
Yeah, but it is such an important thing. If as a client I want to share, because there is no regulation behind this yet that whether I am allowed to share or not. Have you checked?
Well, it's your PL, you can share it with anybody you want.
Correct.
So yeah, I don't think there's any issue with
And
that.
you can do public sharing, you can do private sharing, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's
Right.
okay. It's ultimately.
I mean, ultimately you're sharing your data.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sharing somebody else's data
Yeah.
without their permission.
Yeah.
So
But kudos to you for that move. I think you're the first broker
yeah,
who have launched this. So
Thank
I
you.
hope more and more brokers take lead from your initiative and they also launch this, because this is such an important thing for the better growth of the industry rather than just superfluous.
But
growth.
how else do you actually get people? Like how do you trust an influencer
Yeah.
without knowing that he himself can make money first?
See, I have a very different thought process to that. Why do you want to know that whether he or she is making money or not? For example, you join a tuition, a science teacher, okay, who
Has earned a degree?
Yeah, who has earned a degree, okay,
Right. Yeah.
but he's not practicing. He's not a scientist, right?
Right.
The guy has learned it,
Right. Yeah.
and he's sharing his knowledge by providing you tuition so that you can also pass the exam.
Yeah.
Now, will I question that teacher that you are not a scientist? Who are you to teach me? Arey bhai, I've learned it. I may not have become a scientist because of my compulsions. Yeah. Knowing trading and actually doing trading and making money is two different things.
Yeah. No, just to clarify, Vivek,
Yeah.
like this is only for those people who make fake claims.
Yeah.
This is not, I'm not vouching that everybody should do this.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, obviously, people who are making fake claims, they are basically fake people, right? So it's not just financial market where fake people are there. It's there everywhere. So you're talking about legitimating a lot of things.
Yeah, we just do our little bit and hope for the best.
Yeah, we just keep on doing that piece. Great, but I think what you are doing is definitely next level in terms of bringing new innovation, tech, and whatever I know about you, you're a person who's very approachable. You take feedback from people. You work on those feedback very fast.
I think that's what I'm most passionate about. We do it for the love of it more than anything else.
Right.
And yeah, so kind of fortunate to be. I actually keep thanking NSE all the time. Thank God you guys gave me the license, because when we went to get the license, when we applied, we were only like 25, 26 years of age. And yeah, so I mean, I'm really happy to be in this position.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Tejas,
Thanks,
for this
Vivek.
brilliant
It was a
interview.
pleasure. It was a
Really
pleasure.
loved interacting with you.
I look forward to the
And
event.
this is the first such kind of a recording which I have done, so it's always good to have a great conversation in such kind of a setup.
I had fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. चलिए दोस्तों, ये था एक छोटा सा इंटरेक्शन तेजस के साथ में. मैं पहले एक और क्लैरिफिकेशन फिर कर देता हूँ कि आई डोंट हैव एनी कमर्शियल रिलेशनशिप विद तेजस येट. अभी आज के डेट तक तो नहीं है. कभी होगा तो बता दूंगा. अगर हम साथ में कभी काम करेंगे तो मैं किसी को प्रमोट नहीं कर रहा हूँ. ओके. और रिगार्डिंग मार्केट माइक्रो स्ट्रक्चर, आई हैव बीन सेइंग दिस दैट मार्केट चेंजेस एवरी 3 years 4 years. सो आपको भी अडेप्टिव होना पड़ेगा विथ न्यू मार्केट प्रैक्टिसेस. डोंट गेट फिक्सेटेड विथ वन थिंग कि मुझे बैंक निफ्टी थर्सडे एक्सपायरी ट्रेडिंग ही करनी है. नो, डोंट डू दैट. इससे आप लॉन्ग टर्म करियर नहीं बना पाएंगे. So there are many good solutions, many good intermediaries who are helping you in that journey of long-term wealth creation for market. So take advantage of all the people and keep watching face to face, because इससे भी बहुत फायदा होगा. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care, guys.